Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
I was there in the waiting lounge, waiting for my result. They called me there, the entire Goldman team was there, and then they congratulated me and told me that, hey, glad to have you on board and you placed. And my first reaction was that, are you sure? Hi, my name is Awiral Gupta. I'm a second year PGP participant at IIM Indore. I've been born and brought up in Delhi. I did my engineering from Delhi College of Engineering in Mechanical, and yeah, I'm a fresher. I did not have any work experience. And prior to coming here, I had like different hobbies that I followed. I play guitar, I did theatre, and I was also into managing events and fests. So investment banking is like, to break the myth, it's very simple. If I explain it in two parts, investment banking is basically buying or selling of businesses, part or whole, and the other side of it is raising money. Either through debt or through equity, through IPOs. So that's what basically an investment banker does. One of the primary reasons why investment banking is such a lucrative option is because of obviously the financial perks of that aside. You get to network a lot, you get to learn a lot in a short span of time. So it's like a lot of work rammed up into a single day, but the learning opportunities are really nice. So that's what kind of propelled me towards that. My imagination was obviously fueled by a couple of movies. Obviously you've seen Wolf of Wall Street and you've seen a couple of other movies on finance as well. So I was always kind of interested towards finance as a background, but when I actually got to study the subjects in B school, so first of all saying I did not have any prior experience in finance, you don't actually require any experience, you get all the tools and all the equipment to success in finance in the B schools and the material that you study. But personally I really like numbers, playing around with numbers and their financial implications, and obviously I've been interested in economics as a subject as well, so kind of a mix of both. So obviously IIM Indore is one of the premier campuses for finance companies, and we have all major investment banks coming on campus. We have JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs and Deutsche Bank. But in terms of what attracted me towards Goldman Sachs specifically was the volume and the number of deals that they've done in the past couple of years. Obviously you talk about Vodafone Idea, Walmart, Flipkart, Disney, Fox. Goldman's always been there. For me, my dream company was Goldman Sachs, and I was lucky to get into it at that point in time. But apart from that, obviously Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, these are a few good investment banks that you should target. My prerequisite knowledge of finance was little, so I basically brushed up all the accounting concepts that I had studied in the first term here. Apart from that, it's very essential that you build up a story as to why you are interested towards that particular job. For me, I tried to read up as many news articles I could about mergers and acquisitions and try to study more about how the investment banking industry as a whole works. Kind of try to gauge my interest towards that. And that's what kind of helped me in the discussions during my interviews. Not just the finance concepts, because as a fresher and from an engineering background, they expect little of you. They don't expect you to know all financial models. They expect you to have just the basic interest and that spark. And that is when you read more about stuff online, offline, try to talk to people from the industry, try to look up at the articles and different websites, try to read as much and grasp as much as you can. So the process for Goldman Sachs at B schools is fairly simple in the sense that they provide you all the information that is required. Initially, you'll have to submit your resumes and your CVs. After that, there'll be workshops. The key to cracking workshops is to just be diligent with your work, just be proactive in terms of approaching people as to how to study that. Obviously, preparing for the workshops requires a bit of technical language. For that, you can probably consult your seniors, probably consult your placement committees. They'll provide you the material that you need to study. After the workshops, there are buddy calls that are happening. You'll be assigned a couple of buddies. Obviously, you'll be coordinating with the buddies on the buddy calls. It's very essential to portray a very professional image in these buddy calls. You need to sound very interested. At the same time, try not to be very personal when you're talking to the buddies. Obviously, they expect professional behavior there. Reinstate your knowledge and the current affairs that you know. Obviously, try to bring out the passion in you. Try to convey to the interviewer that you're really interested in applying for that job and why you in front of every other person who's applied. So that's the key for buddy calls. After that, you have networking lunches and dinners with these companies, wherein you interact over informal dinners or lunches with the VPs or MDs or associates at these firms. It's very important to have a very cordial and professional behavior there. And after these networking lunches and dinners, you have your standard personal interview rounds, probably 2 to 3 rounds of 30 to 40 minutes each, where they grill you over anything and anything related to investment banking or finance and your CV, your resume, your HR skills, everything and anything about under the sun. They try to interview on that. The things that helped me during my interviews that I felt most importantly is to be very familiar with what you've written on your resume. Don't lie, don't glow about, just be very confident about who you are and just be very well prepared with each and every word that you've written on your resume. In my case, I was really well prepared. So there's one instance that in my interest section in the last line of my resume, I had written console gaming. and they probed me about that, and they asked me which sport do you follow and which sport do you play on console gaming. I said FIFA. He then asked me who's the publisher for FIFA. I told him it's EA Sports, and then he asked me what's the stock price of EA Sports. So they'll probe you like 4 or 5 questions deep. There was another question that I'd written acting as one of my interests. He asked me about the last 3 or 4 roles that I'd played, whether I'd done street plays or stage plays. They just want to know whether the person you've shown on the resume, are you really that, or are you pretending to be that? So that's the main thing. So my second interview with Goldman Sachs was really finance intensive, or you might call it technical intensive. They asked me or grilled me on questions about the stock exchange, about the familiarity with the basic fundamentals of valuation, free cash flows, how they're derived. It's very important to just tell them what you know. Once again, don't mention anything that they might grill you upon and that you can't defend. If you don't know anything, just be straight up and tell them that you don't know yet, and you'll probably revise it at a later stage or something like that. So the day I got placed, it was my dad's birthday. I had a chance to speak to him because I was busy with the interviews and networking lunches on that day. There was one interesting story that happened. I was there in the waiting lounge, waiting for my result. They called me there. The entire Goldman team was there, and then they congratulated me and told me that, hey, glad to have you on board and you placed. And my first reaction was that, are you sure? And they all started laughing, and even I was really tired and really happy and ecstatic. I called up my dad the first thing and wished him happy birthday, and then kind of gave him a happy birthday good news at that point in time. So that was a really good moment. In the lead up to my preparation for the actual summer internship for the months of April and May, I obviously knew what I was going to do. So in term 3, I took the electives. Likewise, I took finance electives. Apart from that, it's always good to kind of be in touch with the company. I think they'll contact you themselves. They'll give you all the material that they require and the expectations that they have of you. But just be proactive in terms of communicating with them. And obviously, you'll be provided with all the necessary required things. Not just Goldman, any other company. So my first day of Goldman, I remember, I was really excited. So Goldman makes you stay in a very good 5-star hotel there. So I was really pumped up. I'd had a lot of food at the buffet. Really excited, really chuffed to meet the people at the floor. And Goldman has a really good culture wherein they take you around the floor on your first day. They make you meet each and every team there. It was really nice. And you get very comfortable in that environment really soon. You get assigned your seats. And once you ease in the first week, and after that you have your training, and it sets in perfectly. So the first day was really exciting. So the internship at Goldman is really structured in the sense that in the first couple of weeks, you're given specific training sessions of what is expected of you. For the first 9 or 10 days, it's kind of grilling in the sense that there are a lot of classroom sessions. But after that, you're into your own, and you're given parallel 2 projects. So one is the live work, which is the work that you do on the floor with the analysts, which is actually the revenue generating work for the firm. I think that takes precedence over anything and anything else. Apart from that, you're also given a kind of a dummy project that you have to work on end to end, like an M&A deal that you have to work on. That is quite demanding as well. So I think you have these 2 work streams, and apart from the first 10 days of training as well. So yeah, these are the things that I expected of an intern there. So during the internship, the 3 things I'd say that kind of convinced me to realize that this Goldman was the place for me. First was absolutely the work culture. The culture at the floor is really, really supportive. Everybody helps you out. No matter how busy they are, they take out time for you. No matter which level you are at, are you an analyst or an associate, they kind of help you out. They don't hesitate. You can walk up to any person and ask anything. Secondly, obviously, in terms of finance, there's not much anything bigger than Goldman, and especially in the investment banking division. So these are the 2 major factors. And thirdly, Bangalore's weather, I think, probably could say that. The 3 things I'd say that I believe helped me get a PPO were I was kind of always proactive in terms of communicating with my team. It's always good if you're not busy or if you're jammed or if you don't have much capacity to work, just inform the team before that, so that the necessary arrangements can be made and the other person can be assigned work. The other thing, obviously, you have to be very efficient in terms of working. You have to grasp the concepts really soon, and whether it's modeling or presentations or decks, it's very important that you're efficient in utilizing your time. So you can obviously take breaks, but the time that you're there, you have to be really focused. 3 skills that I believe were used during my internship was obviously basics of PowerPoint, Excel, email etiquette. So I'd say these 3 top things, and obviously informal communication, personally chatting with people. You need to know how to present yourself. So when I got a PPO, I think I was sitting for an exam, probably a quiz in one of the exam halls, and one of my friends, she got to know it before me, and she rushed into the exam hall. It was a quintessential 2-stage moment. So it was really special. The PPO day was really special. So the 3 things or 3 mythbusters I say for getting a finance internship or a job would be: you don't require a heavy finance background to get into investment banking. You don't obviously need prior work experience in the same field for getting an internship or a PPO. The work-life balance is very subjective. So the thing is that if you're efficient enough, you work less hours. So the same amount of work, if you're able to do in 12 hours or 10 hours, if you're not efficient, it obviously takes you 16 or 17 hours. So in that case, the work-life balance kind of comes into question. But if you're efficient enough, which you get in a couple of years' time or probably in a year time, then it's not that big an issue.